The emotional backbone of a family is not something a man is simply born with. It is something he grows into, especially after the arrival of a baby. When a new life enters the home, everything shifts: schedules, priorities, sleep patterns, and even the relationship between husband and wife. In the middle of this sudden storm of change, the husband steps into a role that requires strength, patience, empathy, and emotional maturity. Being the emotional backbone does not mean he must carry every burden alone. It means he becomes the steady presence that holds the family together when everything feels overwhelming. After childbirth, a woman goes through a transformation that is unlike anything else in her life. She experiences physical pain, hormonal shifts, emotional ups and downs, stress, and exhaustion. On top of that, she often carries a silent pressure, the responsibility of being the perfect mother. She worries about whether the baby is eating enough, sleeping enough, and growing properly. She questions her abilities, she doubts herself, and she fights emotions she does not always understand. This is where the husband's role becomes profound. He becomes the one who reassures her when she doubts, calms her when she worries, and supports her when she feels overwhelmed. His words, his actions, his attitude can bring peace to her heart like nothing else. To be the emotional backbone means being the person who listens without judging. It means creating an environment where the wife feels safe expressing her fears, frustrations, and insecurities. When a husband listens with patience, he gives her emotional oxygen. Many women experience moments of loneliness or sadness after childbirth, even when surrounded by family. A husband's understanding becomes the bridge that brings her back to emotional stability. Instead of dismissing her feelings, he acknowledges them. Of telling her to stay strong, he stands strong beside her. This partnership becomes the emotional foundation that protects the entire family. A husband's role also involves emotional intelligence, recognizing what the mother needs even when she doesn't say it out loud. Sometimes she needs rest, sometimes she needs reassurance, and sometimes she simply needs a few minutes of silence. When he pays attention to her emotions, he becomes more than a supporter. He becomes her emotional partner. The emotional backbone of a family is not loud, forceful, or commanding. It is gentle, steady, and reliable. Quiet strength that gives the wife confidence to navigate motherhood without feeling like she has to prove anything. Being the emotional backbone also means understanding that his child needs emotional security from day one. Babies may not understand words, but they sense energy. When a husband stays calm during chaos, the baby feels safe. When he holds the child with love, the baby feels connected. When he creates a peaceful environment at home, he is already shaping the emotional patterns that the child will carry throughout life. A husband who provides emotional stability gives his child a gift that lasts forever, an early foundation of safety, trust, and love. There is also a beautiful transformation that happens inside a man during this time. As he steps into fatherhood, he discovers strengths he didn't know he had. Maybe he was never emotional before, but now he finds himself softening. Maybe he was not very expressive, but now he feels a new level of connection. Maybe he was focused on work, but now he finds deeper meaning in the moments spent at home. The baby doesn't just change the mother. Fatherhood reshapes the husband as well. He begins to understand responsibility in a deeper way. He realizes that his emotional presence is just as important as his financial support. He learns that being strong does not mean hiding emotions. It means facing them with courage. The emotional backbone of a family also carries the role of balancing energy in the home. When the mother feels anxious, he brings calmness. When she feels exhausted, he brings encouragement. When she feels isolated, he brings companionship. This emotional harmony is what allows the family to function smoothly. Without emotional stability, small challenges feel huge. But when the husband is emotionally present, even the toughest days feel manageable. His role becomes a blessing that strengthens the home from the inside out. Another part of this role is showing appreciation. After childbirth, many mothers feel invisible. They feel like their entire identity revolves around feeding, cleaning, soothing, and surviving. Becomes the emotional backbone when he reminds her of her worth, when he tells her she is doing an incredible job, when he values her sacrifices, when he notices her efforts. His appreciation becomes fuel for her soul. It reminds her that she is not alone. It reminds her that her hard work is seen and cherished. Simple words like, "I'm proud of you," "You're doing amazing," or "We're in this together," can lift her spirit more than he realizes. Being the emotional backbone also means being adaptable. Life after a baby is unpredictable. Plans change. Routines fall apart. Good days turn into difficult nights. A husband who remains flexible patient, and understanding creates emotional stability, not just for his wife, but for himself as well. Instead of becoming frustrated, he accepts this new phase of life. Instead of resisting change, he grows with it. Instead of expecting perfection, he embraces progress. And finally, being the emotional backbone means leading with love, not control, not pride, not ego. Love becomes the force that guides his decisions, actions, and behavior. When love shapes his role, everything becomes easier, supporting his wife, bonding with his baby, managing responsibilities, and building a peaceful home. His emotional presence becomes the anchor that keeps the family steady, grounded, and connected. This is the true power of a husband after having a baby. Not in the loudness of his strength, but in the softness of his support. Not in the perfection of his actions, but in the sincerity of his heart. Not in doing everything right, in being emotionally present every single day. This is what makes him the backbone, the quiet strength behind a strong wife, a happy child, and a united family. When a baby enters the world, the role of a husband expands in ways he never fully imagined before. It doesn't matter how prepared he thought he was. Fatherhood introduces him to a new dimension of responsibility, tenderness, and purpose. A husband is no longer just a provider in the traditional sense. He becomes a nurturer, a protector, and a teammate who helps shape the earliest moments of his child's life. These first experiences are not just memories. They are emotional foundations that will influence the child's sense of safety, love, and identity for years to come. Much of that foundation begins with the kind of father the husband chooses to be. The first thing that changes is perspective. Before the baby arrives, life often revolves around routine work and personal goals. But once he holds his baby for the first time, everything shifts. Suddenly, he feels an overwhelming sense of duty, not because anyone expects it, but because love naturally awakens it. This love makes him look at his responsibilities differently. He starts thinking about the future with a new purpose. Every decision becomes more intentional. He wants to be someone his child can trust, admire, and rely on. Isn't just about providing financially, it's about shaping the emotional climate in which the child grows. A husband's nurturing role becomes one of the most powerful parts of fatherhood. Society used to think nurturing was only the mother's job. Today we understand how wrong that idea was. A baby needs softness from both parents. A newborn recognizes warmth, touch, and voice. When a husband talks to his baby, holds them close, rocks them to sleep, or comforts them during tears, he is wiring emotional connections into that child's developing mind. The baby learns what comfort feels like through his gentle hands. They learn what safety feels like through his steady presence. They learn what love feels like through the way he looks at them with devotion and patience. These early experiences help shape the child's emotional security for life. Being a protector is another part of his expanded role. But protection is not just physical. It is emotional, mental, and even spiritual. A father teaches his child confidence through the way he speaks. He teaches them strength through his calmness. He teaches them kindness through his behavior. Even in the baby years, the child absorbs everything: tone of voice, energy in the home, reactions to stress. When a husband is stable and grounded, the child senses that stability. When he handles challenges with patience rather than anger, the child learns emotional regulation. When he speaks with gentleness to the mother, the child grows up understanding respect and love. Without saying a single word, the father is already teaching valuable life lessons simply through his presence and actions. Another profound part of his expanded role is teamwork. Parenting is not a solo journey. It requires unity, communication, and shared effort. The husband becomes a teammate to his wife in the true sense. Together they build a rhythm, even if imperfect, that keeps the home functioning. When he takes initiative, changing diapers, preparing bottles, helping with baths, staying awake during late night cries, he shows his wife that she is not carrying the weight alone. This teamwork doesn't just make the mother feel supported, creates a peaceful, emotional environment that benefits the baby. Children develop faster and healthier when they grow up in a home where both parents are emotionally present and working together. His role also includes being the emotional stabilizer during stressful moments. After having a baby, both parents experience exhaustion, frustration, and uncertainty. There will be nights with no sleep, days filled with endless chores, moments when the baby cries without explanation, and times when everything seems overwhelming. A husband's calm presence during these moments becomes a source of strength. He doesn't need to have all the answers. He just needs to be present, supportive, and engaged. Ability to remain steady gives his wife reassurance and gives the baby a sense of security. Calmness becomes a kind of emotional leadership that guides the entire household through difficulties. One of the most powerful aspects of his expanding role is modeling love through actions. Babies may not understand words at the beginning. They sense love in the way he holds them, touches their tiny hands, and responds to their needs. They sense love in the way he treats their mother, with respect, compassion, patience, and appreciation. A child who grows up seeing love between parents grows up believing in love themselves. They see partnership, teamwork, and unity as normal. They learn that relationships require effort, kindness, and understanding. A husband's smallest actions create lifelong impressions. Husband also becomes an emotional guardian of his wife. Childbirth changes a woman in deep physical and emotional ways. She may feel tired, insecure, or overwhelmed. The husband's expanded role involves lifting her up, reminding her of her strength, helping her heal, and supporting her dreams, even while she supports the baby. When he steps into this role with compassion and understanding, he strengthens the bond between them. Their relationship grows deeper because they face this new chapter not as separate individuals, but as a united team. Fatherhood also awakens growth within the husband himself. He learns to be more patient because babies require it. He learns to be more selfless because his child depends on him completely. He learns to be more disciplined because the baby's needs come before his own comfort. He learns to express emotions more openly because his child needs warmth, affection, and connection. These changes make him not only a better father, but also a better partner and a stronger human being. The role of shaping a child's foundation is one of his greatest responsibilities. Children absorb behaviors, emotions, patterns from their environment long before they understand language. A father who is present, loving, gentle, and attentive creates a world where the child feels safe. From that safety comes confidence. From that confidence comes curiosity. From curiosity comes growth. A father who nurtures his child helps build a foundation of emotional health that supports the child's entire life journey. In the end, the expanded role of a husband after having a baby is not just about duties. It is about heart. It is about becoming the man his family can lean on, the father his child looks up to, and the partner his wife trusts completely. It is about turning love into action, responsibility into leadership, fatherhood into a powerful chapter that shapes a family's future. When a baby arrives, the world of a family changes in an instant. Routines shift, priorities transform, and the sense of time becomes completely different. In this new life, husband's patience, presence, and understanding become the pillars that hold the home together through the chaos of sleepless nights, unpredictable days, emotional transitions. Qualities are not luxuries. They are the very foundation that allows a family to survive and thrive during one of the most demanding phases of life. Husband who understands the steps into fatherhood with a sense of purpose and a willingness to grow beyond who he was before. Patience becomes essential because life with a newborn does not follow logic or schedules. Babies cry without explanation, sleep at random hours, and require constant attention. For the mother, this can become mentally and physically exhausting. Her body is still healing, her emotions fluctuate, and her mind carries a heavy load of responsibility. In these moments, the husband's patience becomes a gift she deeply depends on. When he remains calm, even when the baby cries endlessly, he brings peace into the environment. When he does not lose his temper during stressful moments, he protects the emotional safety of both mother and child. Patience becomes more than a trait, it becomes an act of love. Presence is equally important, and it does not simply mean being in the same room. It means being actively involved, emotionally aware, fully engaged in the new reality of parenthood. The presence of a husband during the early months after childbirth carries a kind of strength that transforms the entire atmosphere of the home. When he holds the baby so the mother can rest, when he participates in daily routines, when he pays attention to the small needs that arise moment by moment, he shows that he is not merely an observer of this new chapter. He is a participant. His presence makes the mother feel supported rather than overwhelmed. Makes the baby feel secure even before they understand where they are or what they need. Emotional presence becomes the backbone of trust within the family. Understanding plays an equally powerful role. The mother goes through hormonal changes, emotional fluctuations, and moments of doubt that she might not have expected. She might cry without knowing why, feel anxious over small things, or struggle to adjust to her new identity. A husband who understands this does not take anything personally. He does not judge her emotional reactions. He does not treat her struggles as a burden. Instead, he recognizes that she needs empathy, gentleness, and reassurance. When he understands her exhaustion or quiet moments, he responds with kindness rather than frustration. Understanding becomes a bridge that strengthens their relationship even in the midst of chaos. Together, patience, presence, and understanding create stability. Stability is not something the husband has to declare. The family simply feels it. When he wakes up at night to check on the baby, when he quietly takes over tasks without being asked, when he offers comfort instead of criticism, he becomes the steady force the family can rely on. The baby feels the calm energy around them even without understanding the world. The mother feels emotionally protected and supported. The husband, through these qualities, becomes the pillar that keeps everything from falling apart during the most fragile stage of the family's journey. Sleepless nights test every parent. They test the husband in a particularly important way. These nights reveal his strength, his character, and his willingness to step outside the comfort of his old life. A man who chooses to stay awake with his partner, hold the baby, prepare a bottle, simply sit beside her during those difficult hours shows a level of love that cannot be expressed in words. These moments create a bond between husband and wife that becomes unbreakable. She remembers these actions long after the baby grows up. They become proof of his dedication, love, and loyalty. New routines, which often feel exhausting and unpredictable, demand adaptability. A husband who shows flexibility is a blessing. When he understands that the house won't always be clean, meals won't always be on time, and schedules will constantly shift, he relieves a tremendous pressure from his wife's shoulders. Instead of expecting perfection, he embraces the reality that life has changed. This acceptance creates harmony. It frees the mother from unnecessary guilt and makes her feel valued rather than judged. Together, they learn to create a new rhythm. Maybe slow, maybe messy, filled with teamwork and love. Unexpected challenges will appear. Babies get sick, mothers face emotional hurdles, and plans fall apart. In these moments, husband's strength becomes the anchor that keeps the family steady. He may not always know what to do, but his calm presence reassures everyone around him. Even when he feels overwhelmed, his willingness to stay, to listen, and to keep trying becomes the definition of true strength. Challenges do not break a man who understands his role. They shape him into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. One of the most beautiful effects of patience, presence, and understanding is the emotional environment they create. Babies grow not just with food and sleep, but with warmth, touch, and emotional energy. A father who nurtures his baby teaches them early lessons about love and security. The baby learns to relax in his arms, recognize his voice, and feel safe in his presence. These early connections become the roots of emotional stability that shape the child's personality for years to come. A father's calm energy can soothe a crying baby as powerfully as a mother's touch, and this emotional balance helps the child grow with a strong sense of trust. For the wife, these qualities are even more meaningful. She does not just see her husband as a partner, she sees him as her support system, her strength, and her source of comfort. When he shows patience during her emotional moments, she feels understood. When he is present during difficult days, she feels valued. When he tries to understand her needs without being asked, she feels loved. This deepens their bond and brings their relationship into a new level of unity and respect. In the end, the husband's patience, presence, and understanding are not small things. They are the true foundations of a healthy family. They hold the family steady through every sleepless night, every new routine, and every challenge. They show his wife that she is not alone. Show his child what love feels like from the very beginning. And they shape him into a father whose strength is measured not by how loud he is, by how consistently he shows up with love, dedication, and unwavering support. When a baby comes into the world, everything changes, not just the routines, responsibilities, or the roles inside the home, but the meaning of love itself. A husband's love, after becoming a father, begins to reveal itself not only through words, but more importantly through actions, responsibility, and support. These actions become the invisible threads that hold the family together. His love transforms into something deeper, quieter, and more powerful than he ever imagined before. And this transformation does not happen instantly. It grows each day as he learns to navigate the demanding but beautiful journey of fatherhood alongside his partner. Before the baby arrives, the concept of love may be associated with romance, affection, and emotional connection. But once the child is born, love becomes movement. It becomes effort. It becomes the choice to show up again and again, especially on the days when exhaustion takes over. The husband becomes someone whose actions speak louder than anything he could say. when he wakes up at night, even though he could pretend not to hear the cries, when he changes diapers without being asked, when he takes over a task so the mother can rest. These moments become the purest expressions of love. They are not grand gestures, yet they are powerful enough to change the emotional landscape of the home. Responsibility takes on a deeper meaning as well. No longer just the idea of providing or working hard, responsibility becomes emotional, physical, and spiritual. It means being aware of the mother's needs even when she doesn't voice them. It means recognizing when she is overwhelmed, stepping in when she is exhausted, and reassuring her when she feels unsure or insecure. A husband's responsibility is not to fix everything, it is to stand as her steady support, reminding her that she is not alone in this journey. This shared responsibility creates a partnership that is strong, balanced, and full of mutual respect. Support becomes the bridge that connects the husband to his new role in the family. Support is not passive, it is active, gentle, consistent, and meaningful. Shows up in the way he handles small tasks without expecting praise. It shows up in the way he pays attention to the baby's cues, helps with feeding, comforts the child, or takes over when the mother needs a moment to breathe. It appears in the way he sits beside her during tough nights, offering silent comfort, or embraces her when she feels overwhelmed. Support is the husband saying through his actions, "We are in this together. Your struggles are my struggles. Your victories are my victories." This kind of support strengthens the bond between husband and wife in ways words alone never could. The long-term impact of these qualities on the relationship and the child's future is profound. When a husband shows love through responsibility and support, wife feels valued, respected, and emotionally safe. She sees him not only as her partner, but as her teammate, her protector, and her source of strength. The small actions he takes daily, washing bottles, preparing meals, soothing the baby, encouraging her, listening to her, become memories she carries forever. They transform her experience of motherhood and make her feel understood in a way that brings lifelong gratitude and admiration. For the child, these actions create the earliest blueprint of what love looks like. Children learn not through lessons, but through experience. When a baby grows up observing a father who is gentle, supportive, responsible, and emotionally present, they grow with a sense of security that becomes the foundation of their own emotional development. A child who feels love from both parents blossoms with confidence. They learn compassion, kindness, and emotional intelligence simply by growing in an environment where love is expressed through action. The husband's role is not about perfection, because no new parent gets everything right. There will be mistakes, there will be frustrations, and there will be moments when both parents feel lost or tired. But what matters most is the willingness to keep trying, to keep learning, and to keep supporting one another. Love is proven in those small everyday moments where he chooses to step forward instead of stepping back. Proven in the way he carries responsibilities without waiting to be reminded. It is proven in the way he speaks gently, listens deeply, stands beside his wife through every challenge. This kind of love also creates emotional balance within the home. When the husband handles responsibilities with grace and consistency, the pressure on the mother reduces. She feels lighter, more secure, and more capable because she knows she has a partner who walks with her, not behind her or ahead of her. This balance reduces stress, strengthens emotional connection, nurtures a peaceful home environment. The child grows up surrounded by harmony between the parents, which sets a powerful example of how relationships should be built through respect, effort, and shared responsibility. The impact of a husband's supportive love also extends to his own growth as a man. Fatherhood transforms him from the inside out. Teaches him patience he never thought he had. It teaches him to prioritize differently, to soften where he once hardened, and to express his emotions more openly. It teaches him the kind of humility that comes with caring for a tiny life completely dependent on him. It teaches him the kind of strength that comes not from loudness or dominance, but from gentleness, responsibility, and consistent presence. His love, expressed through action, becomes the secret strength of the family. It creates a bond between him and his child that becomes unbreakable. It creates intimacy and trust between him and his wife that lasts beyond the early years of parenthood. It creates memories, small, powerful moments that stay in the heart even when the years pass by and the child grows up. Ultimately, the role of a husband after having a baby is defined by the love he demonstrates through what he chooses to do each day. Not through promises, but through commitment. Not through grand gestures, but through steady support. Not through perfect decisions, but through honest effort. And when he embraces this role with his whole heart, he becomes the source of strength that keeps the family unified, supported, and emotionally grounded for years to come.